Hey, church family, thanks for joining us for today's daily devotional. We are continuing to talk about what it means to live with a purpose, and we're going to continue to look in 1 Peter chapter 2 as we talk about that. We're going to look at a few more verses than we typically do, and I know a lot of times we look at just one verse, and I'm kind of excited I get to look at more than just one. So we're going to be looking at 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 6 through 8, which say, "For it stands in Scripture, 'See, I lay a stone in Zion, a chosen and honored cornerstone, and the one who believes in him will never be put to shame. So honor will come to you who believe, but for the unbelieving, the stone that the builders rejected, this one has become the cornerstone, and a stone to stumble over and a rock to trip over. They stumble because they disobeyed the word, and they're destined for this.'" And there is so much in this passage, but I think an important thing that we need to do before we jump in there is just understand the context of what a cornerstone is. The cornerstone was the very foundation of every building that was built during this time period. It was a large stone. It had to be set in a perfect location. It had to be a solid stone without cracks, without blemishes. A stone that would outlast the rest of the structure even. It was the most important part of that building. If the cornerstone was not set perfectly, and if the cornerstone was not the right stone, the building would never be correct. I'm sure you've seen a house with foundation problems before. I worked on one in college when I was doing construction. There was a house that the whole front of the house was falling off the front because of foundation issues. And the amount of work that had to go into fixing the house, it almost wasn't worth it. The reason why they decided to is because they built the house themselves and they loved their home. It was paid for. So, if it had not been for that, it wouldn't have been worth fixing because the foundation issues were so serious. And the reality is, our foundation, the cornerstone for us, the cornerstone that Peter is talking about, is Jesus Christ. Now, he also mentions these builders, and the builders that Peter's talking about are the Jewish leaders. The Jewish leaders were the builders of the Jewish people, of the Israelite people. They directed the paths of the people, and the problem that exists is they rejected the cornerstone, the one and true stone, the perfect stone. That is Jesus Christ. They rejected him and they rejected his teachings. And so whatever they built apart from Christ would never be able to stand firm. It would always fall apart because Jesus wasn't at its center. And I think it's important for us to understand that Jesus has to remain at our center. And whenever we see people who are stumbling over the word, whose foundation, whose home, their lives seem to be falling apart, a lot of times that's because Christ isn't at the center. That doesn't mean that we aren't going to face problems and issues throughout life. Absolutely we are. But we can weather those storms as long as our foundation is on Christ. And you notice that it says that they were destined for this, that they stumbled because they disobeyed the word. The word told them Jesus would come, and it says that they were destined for this. And what that is a reminder for us is that from the very beginning, God always planned for Jesus to be the cornerstone. Even when he created man before sin came into the world, God knew that it would, right? And even from the very beginning when he created us, he knew his son would be the cornerstone. He knew his son would have to be sacrificed. The love that God must have had for us to decide, to choose to create us, knowing that we would fail, knowing that it would be the sacrifice of his son that would cause us to be in right relationship with him. Wow, what a powerful love that Christ had, that God had for us, and ultimately that Christ had for us, because he was absolutely a part of creation just as much as the Father was. And so I hope that is a great reminder of the love that God has for us. I hope it is also a great reminder for you to strive every day to have Christ at the center and at the foundation of your life. Our author gives us a couple of questions to look at. The first says, why do people stumble over Jesus' teachings? Why do people struggle? Why do they stumble listening to Jesus' teachings and their difficulty? And then the second, why does the Bible speak of Jesus as a secure foundation? Church family, I hope that you'll really wrestle with those questions. I hope that today you will strive to have Jesus at the foundation of your life, and you will remember that vast love, that God offers to us, that he created us knowing we would not meet all the requirements that he had for us. Wow, and he still loved us enough to give us life. I hope that you just rest in that today, and I hope that you think on that today. I hope you wrestle with that today. And as you do it, I want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.